Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, Handmade by Hannah. My name is Hannah, and I live in Reno, Nevada, and I do apologize for the glare off of my glasses. It is actually pretty nice and sunny today, and so that light is reflecting off of the window that is behind you guys. So I'm trying to keep the glare out of there, but it's just, I like the light. It's really good and natural, but of course it reflects off of my glasses. So um, all those four-eyed problems people have. So anyway, today I am going to take you through the first step in my journey to making a corset for myself. Never made a corset before, never really done any boning or anything like that. So that is one of my goals this year that I am very excited to get started on, and it's definitely going to be a process. I can tell that already. Now, Sean from Kittenish Behavior had a really excellent recommendation of a lady named, or a YouTube channel, Aranea Black, and I will link her channel in the description if you're interested in following up on that. But she has some amazing in-depth tutorials on how to make a corset. She also has several different patterns, and they're all free. And so I have gotten the Dolores, and it is a overbust corset, so it actually goes over, you know, on top of your boobs and all the way down to around your mid-hip. So just above the pelvic bone is about where, from what I understand, is where this specific type is supposed to hit. So I have gotten the pattern. I've started working, as you can see, I've started working on extending the getting it to fit me, because as I've mentioned before, I have a very long torso. So regular ready-to-wear clothes just don't fit me properly because my waist is 2 to 3 inches below your normal line where they create those patterns and clothes for people. You know, they have a specific shape that they're going for, and not everybody fits into that shape. And I'm one of those, which is why I really enjoy sewing my own clothes, because they fit and I feel fabulous in them. So let's get started. I'm going to talk you through right now what I am, some of the tools that I have gotten to get started, because the first thing I'm going to be working on is getting all of the pattern pieces traced with my right measurements, at least to start, traced out. And then we will start working for that very first muslin, toile, whatever you want to call it. I know it's not going to fit perfect right out of the bat, so this is definitely, like I said, this is going to be a process. Okay, so the first thing, of course, that I've gotten was the pattern, and this is the pattern for Dolores, overbust pattern, as I specified. And I've got my tracing paper here, some notes, a list. I am a big list person. I love making lists. It helps me organize. It helps me stay on track. And I have here some of the things that I'm going to need. Now, the boning, I am not going to need for a little while, because I have some that will work for the mock-up. And so I'll get to that in a second. But for the final product, I do want that spiral steel boning. Probably I'm going to buy it as the roll so that I can cut the specific pieces, because I was looking at the lengths that they sell, and I don't think they're going to be long enough for the corset that I am making for my torso. So I'm going to need to cut those myself. So I'm going to need to get ends and those heavy duty pliers and those things. And I think I might have some in my garage. My husband's toolkit might have something like that. So that will come later though. Probably I'm hoping third time's the charm on this one. So the third time I do this will be the final one. So tracing paper, actually just got a new roll. So I need to take that off. And this will be nice and narrow for these pieces. And of course, all sorts of measuring tools are really good for this. Pencil, and I've got my French curve here. And I found a really cool thing when I was at Hobby Lobby in the art section getting the tracing paper. And this actually is a bendable ruler. And I thought it was just the neatest thing. And I think I've heard of other people using this, but sometimes the French curve just doesn't have the right length of curve or just the right curve to get you where you want, because you don't need a straight line, but you don't need a super big curve either. So I am going to try this out and see how it works. And it's got both inches on one side and centimeters on the other. I have some white cotton twill fabric here. And yes, it does look a little pink. It went through with some other fabric that wasn't quite dye fast, but I was fine with it. This is just for the mock-ups. It's not going to be for the final product. I got myself a grommet kit. So these are 00 grommets for the lacing in the back. And I find this useful for doing bags too. So that was not a hard thing to convince myself to get. I also got 8 yards of the lacing tape for the back, and that'll be for much later as well. Now, boning. My mom gave me this bag when she was cleaning out her stuff. And there are a couple of types of boning in here. So we have the sew-in, pretty, not loose. Yeah, it's not heavy duty, but it'll be enough to kind of give you a little bit of structure. So for this first mock-up, I think I'm going to use this one. And I will do the casings just so that I can have practice with that and practice getting it in there, measuring, all of that stuff. But this is actually stuff that you can actually sew on. You don't have to have a casing for it to go on. So that'll be very helpful for a number of things actually too, including doing any kind of bustier that I don't want like heavy duty boning in. Now there's some boning here that already has casing on it. It's more of the, the plastic stuff. So I don't know if I'll use that in any of this or not, but this is definitely handy to have. But it is not heavy duty either. It's just going to give you some basic structure. And same with this one, but I think I will take the casing off. As you see, it's kind of ratty and kind of meh. But she saved it from another project. So that is definitely helpful. And last but not least, we also have the busk for the very center front. Now, because of the length on my torso, I actually am not entirely certain what length is going to work for me to be able to not only get my waist reduced a little bit, but just kind of hold everything in, especially at the bottom. So I do need it to go almost all the way to the end of the corset from the top to the bottom. So I got 3 different lengths. I started with 15 inch. So I have 15 inch, 16 inch, and 17 inch. I knew the 18 inch was going to be way too long. I'm not looking for that whole, something that long. But after doing some measurements when I got these, I'm thinking probably the 16 inch is going to be the one that I am going to be using, because it hits right at the kind of the top of where that V is going to be, and at the top, and then at the bottom it hits just above where my mid hip will be. So hopefully the end line, but we will see. And worst case scenario, I have some extras. I think I might be sending the 17 inch one back though, because I don't foresee myself using that for anything. So next thing up is I am going to start working on getting the rest of these pattern pieces traced out, adjusted and traced out. So that's going to take some time. Okay, so I didn't get as much done as I thought I would today. I actually have quite a bit of things that I need to do this afternoon, and it is already almost 2 o'clock. So I did get 3 pieces traced out and ready to go. So I have 4 pieces total that are done. So I have the front center, the front middle, the front side, and the back side. So I still have 5, 6, and then the modesty piece, which goes in the very back behind the lacing. So you can wear it by itself if you really want to. Oh, that took a lot of time, more than I was expecting. It took me 20 minutes to do the first one, which you saw the time lapse there for doing piece number 2. So this will take a little bit of time. But I remembered in the middle of piece number 3 that the person who did this pattern, she actually did the pieces without seam allowance, and she actually cut the pattern pieces out without seam allowance either. And she added the seam allowance when she put it on the fabric. So she actually lays these on the fabric, traces around them, and then adds the seam allowance. Because she was emphasizing at almost every turn how important it is to be so precise in what you're doing. So, being precise. So hopefully next time I catch up with you with this project, which hopefully maybe next week, maybe the week after, things are getting really busy in life right now, there will be an update on my corset journey. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Happy Wednesday. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button so you see me in my feed every time I post an update. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.